Hello everyone. Welcome to today's session of Advanced Reporting using SmartView Report. First, I would like to thank you to all for sparing some time to attend this session. Today's session will be of 90 minutes, including 15 minutes of Q&A session. Attendees may write down their queries and questions, which will be answered at the end of this session, or panelists also will answer your queries during this session. So first, our agenda of today's meeting is SmartView report design. Second, post-view operation analytic, followed by the Q&A session. First, we will look into how a SmartView report helps business users to understand the data, get into the different type of analysis in different forms. SmartView is an intuitive browser-based interactive interface to visualize and analyze large amount of data packaged in the report of the business users. So SmartView of Intellicus presents the visualization of your data using the latest interactive controls. You can view your data while designing reports by saving the efforts and time to switch back and forth between view and design mode. So the business users of organization can benefit from self-served business intelligence, and the sophisticated visualization will lead to self-reliant analysis of data. SmartView is a self-service tool to design the smart reports with drag and drop functionalities for performing on-the-fly operations. And also it allows you to choose visualization according to the relationship between the different data elements and helps you to uncover new pattern and insights of the data. So these basically includes GIS maps, tree maps, packed bubble, funnel, counter, bar chart, pie chart, and other advanced visualization which is available in the Intellicus. Let us understand how we can create SmartView reports and how we can use those functionalities which will help us to analyze our data. These are the two different ways to create SmartView report in Intellicus. The one we can say direct and the second we can say the indirect mode. In both the ways, basically the designer needs to be selected the query object through we get the data from the data source. So I believe in the previous session, you already understood what is the query object, how we can connect with our data source and how we can query our data source to get the data. I'll show you how we can create it live later. So the SmartView includes the different kind of visualization under the various tabs, such as grid, chart, map, and metrics. The operations include adding or removing the grids, charts, metrics, and maps, and performing grouping, sorting, highlighting, let's say predictive analytics, and what if analysis on various visualizations. Let me walk you through all of the views available in SmartView report one by one. So this is my login page of the Intellicus, where end user can log in with their username and password. Here I am having the username as admin, and when I clicked on the sign in button, then the Intellicus portal will be logged in, and it will take me on the home page. So as I said, there are two different ways to create the SmartView report. So we can directly go to the navigate and then click on the SmartView. Else in the Explorer, I'll have my categories which I have created. So I have created as such as webinar category in webinar query object, and here is my query object which I have already created, which is related to the global superstore database, which is easily available over the internet. So with the help of that particular data set, I have created a query object. So either I can click on the right click and create a SmartView report, or I can navigate and I can create the SmartView report. In both the cases, first you have to select the query object so that you can analyze that particular data set. So let's say I have selected this particular query object and I have selected it. So the moment when I click onto the select button, so the moment when I click onto the apply button, so you will see that by default, the grid view is created. Here you can see it created for me, the grid view, and grid view consists 200 of rows. This grid view, particularly paginated grid view, where you can directly move from one page to another page, and you can also directly move to the last page and to the first page with the help of these navigation buttons. So by default, it loads the sample data. But what if you want to have the complete data to be loaded so that you can analyze in the better way? So you need to move yourself to the menu button and you just need to select the load complete data. The moment you click complete load data, then it will load all the data which is available in the query object. So right now, 999 rows are available, 9,999 rows are available in my query object. So it loaded completely. And also, if you want to load all the columns which is available in the query object, so you have to click on the grid button, where the different kind of functionalities which you can apply over to grid view so that you can analyze your data will be available here, such as fields, group, total, sort, highlighting, and advanced. I'll walk you through one by one for each and every tabs which is available here. Right now, you can see that I'm having the available field section and the selected field section. So the selected field section will be only visible on the grid view so that you can analyze as per your requirement. It means that whatever column you require to analyze your data, to get insights in your data, you have to select those particular fields. So by default, some of the field it automatically selected. And if you want to select manually, then you can. Here are some navigation buttons which will be help you to select the fields, such as if you want to see all the data on the grid, then you can select this button. If you want to remove all the rows, all the columns from the selected fields, then you can select this particular button. If you want to have only the selected column, such as order date, ship date, let's say customer, or state, country, or category, subcategory. So you can directly check on the check boxes, and you need to click on this particular button so that all the available fields which you have selected from the selected field will be moved to the select available field to the selected field section. And when you apply this, only the selected fields will be visible on the grid view. So as you can see, it again loaded complete transactions, complete rows which are available. So in order to consume some time and in order to demonstrate you as much as possible, I am again loading the sample data only. I would like to tell you some of the basic functionalities which is available for grid view, such as rearranging the columns and select the columns, filter the column values. So here, this is the interactive grid view which you can see right now. Why? Because I am saying it is interactive. Because if you can see, these grid view are basically formed as per the column and rows. And at the first row, we can see headers along with the text boxes. You can see this is the text boxes. So on the fly operation we can perform here based on my requirement. It means that if I want to sort some data for any particular column, so I can sort it with the help of these text boxes. Let's say I only want to have the data of the customer Kelly. So I can navigate myself to here and I can type Kelly. So the moment you type your complete word, it will filter out data based on the keyword which you have applied here or the text which you have applied here. And at the backend side, it applies the wildcard operations. Wildcard operations, it means that percentage, text percentage. Wherever the customer name consists Kelly, it will show you the records. So we are playing on the sample data set. It might be possible that you will have more data for the customer Kelly because it is sample data set. When we save this particular report and when we execute this report, then it might be possible that you will have more number of columns as compared to this. Because at that particular time, the report will be loaded on the complete data set. It will also educate you how you can filter out your data based on some conditions. So if you hover over this particular text box, you can see that it will also educate you that you can filter any values by writing the text here. So this is for the dimension value especially. What if I have the sales values or the measurable or aggregated values? So for those particular measures, it will also educate you how you can filter out your data. For example, I only want to see the data where the sales values are greater than 500. So I can directly write here and it will be filter out where the sales values are greater than 500, and it will show me only those data which met the conditions which I have applied here. Now, for example, if I talk about for equals to 500, but there is no data as such, less than 500. So it will show you according to the condition which you have applied here. Now, suppose if you want to have between some ranges where the sales value is greater than 100 and less than 200. So you have to write down here 100 dot dot 200. So this is how we can apply the range here. You can also see that if you want to apply range, you have to provide two numbers, N1 and N2, and you have to apply two dots between both the numbers. Similarly, if you want to rearrange your column here, let's suppose the sales value you want to see after the ship date, or this country you want to see after the subcategory. So directly you can select that particular column and you can move wherever you want. It is as simple as that. So that is why it is interactive grid which Intellicus provides us. Also, if you want to rearrange your column, then there is another way to rearrange it. Means from the grid setting, you can directly select the column and you can use these particular navigation buttons, which will be help you to rearrange your column based on your need. It means that if you want to analyze data based on the two columns, then you can select these two columns from available field to selected field, and you can navigate these fields with the help of these buttons. Now, you can select the fields to be displayed on the report with render as option. So what is render as? So for any measure value, you can see your data in the different micro charts which is available in the render as, such as data bar and bullet. So these are the micro charts, or we can say this is the miniature version of actual charts embedded in the cell, and it designs to help to understand complex relationship between data and grids. Microcharts can be used to quickly visualize the trend of the matrix at a glance without having to know any additional details, such as data bar and bullet. Data bar in Smart Report represent the current grid cell value as column, and the column width is determined with respect to the maximum value of that particular column. It can have a base value from which column will be drawn. If the value is lesser than the base value, then column is drawn on the left side of the base value with different color, and for values greater than the base value, chart is drawn on the right side of the base value for the data bar. And what about bullet? So bullet chart to show a single primary measure and compare that measure to one or more other measure to enrich its meaning. It display it in the context of qualitative ranges of performance, and such as sales values, if the sales value is below or above the average target sales. So these are the microcharts which is supported in the Intellicus. Let's see how we can see our data with the data bar. So I'm selecting here as data bar for the sales measure. When I click on the apply button, you can see these micro charts are available in the sales column. So you can also customize it based on the available setting. For example, you want to see the custom data bar or the normal data bar. So based on your requirement, you can select the minimum value, the average value, and maximum value. Now, if I want to arrange this particular data set based on my requirement, means I want to see the sales data in ascending or descending order. So you can click here and you can arrange this in the ascending order. Also, you can arrange it in the descending order. So you can see this is the higher value which I am having for a transaction, 2,125 USD dollar. So for that particular value, it is showing me a data bar as complete. And then it adjusts itself based on the target value or based on the maximum value which is available here. For ascending order, you can see here my sales value is 5 USD dollar. That is why I'm not getting much data bar here, means it's tiny. But for the maximum values, I can understand here for the sales value where I have arranged as a descending order, I can see these data bars here. Now, what is bullet will be helpful for me. So I have set, or by default it sets for that particular measure that sales maximum value for target, and I would also see the range as an average value. When I click this, so you can see here, let me also show the values for this particular measure. So here you can see that for this particular transaction, I'm having the sales value as 13 USD dollar, where my average is 207. And what is my achievement is? My achievement is, I can see here. Now, let me arrange it in the ascending order or descending order. So you can see here, my largest value, my maximum value is 2,125. And I have achieved that particular sales value, 2,125. But my average value is 207. So it is good for me to analyze what is my target and how many transactions achieved that particular transaction, that particular sales value, and what is my average sales value for each and every row which I can see here. So this is how I can use the micro charts in the grid view. I have also created one grid view with the help of this particular micro charts. So I'll show you later. Now, if you want to see your data with the help of some grouping, for example, you want to see the region wise grouping. So all the data will be grouped into the different regions which are available here. For example, Caribbean having some of the data where you can see the sales values, ship date, customer name, category, or whatever column you have selected. Similarly for Central America and similarly for South America. Now, if you want to group more than one column, then you can select that particular columns here. First, I have selected as region. Second, I can select as country here. And I want this in the ascending order or descending order, I can select here. In what rank I would like to see this grouping, I can select that particular column here. And when I click on the apply button, it will rearrange and it will group based on the grouping column which you have selected. Let's say I have selected region and country. So based on my region and country, it grouped the data and it is showing me right now. Now let me remove that particular group here. I can remove from here. If I want to add more than 2 or 3 grouping, I can click plus button. Also, I can remove it with the help of the minus button here. And what if I want to see the total of that particular group value for for the sales value or for the profit value or any other column? So here are the functionality which is available to showcase you what is the total based on the different levels. It means that you want to see the total based on the group level, report level, or page level. So you have to select the field from here. Let's say I am selected sales and I want to see sum of the sales or average of the sales or count. I can select from the functions, and also I can select the level. So I'm selecting here at group level, I want to see the total. So you can see the total value is visible for each and every region which I have selected here. Similarly, if you want to see this particular total at the report level, then you can see this particular total of the sales value at the report level. So it is the sum of the all available sales value, and it is showing you here. So based on your requirement means if you want to get insights into your data based on the average value of the sales or the minimum value or the maximum value, so this different kind of functions are available to perform some operation over your data set. Similarly, if you want to render your data in some microcharts again, so here is also a microchart available which is called it as Sparkline. So when you click on this Sparkline and when you want to see your data to understand what is the trends are going for the sales column, so you can see here. So besides the sales, total sales value, group level, you can see how the trends are going for that particular sales value. You can also expand this particular value and it will show you in terms of points. If you can see here, when you click on a particular point, it will take you and it will take you on that particular transaction which is having that particular value. It will not respect the pages also, means on whatever page the transaction is available, it will directly move you onto that particular transaction and it will show you in the yellow color. Similarly, if I selected this value, so it redirect me onto this particular transaction. Now, you can also change the color of this particular Sparkline. So right now I have selected, or by default it is selected, line color as blue, minimum color red, and maximum color green. I can see the line color. I can change the line color as orange, and when I click on it, so it will change the line color. So based on that functionalities, I have also created one particular report in order to showcase you. Let me open it. So I have created the sales value. I have created region and country wise sales with the help of the Sparkline, with the help of the grouping, and some of more functionalities which I will demonstrate you in the next step. So this is how we can see the trends are data. It basically useful when you want to analyze some of the data set like share market data set, or where you want to see where I am moving up and or I am moving down. And based on the analyzation you have performed, you can take your decision further, or whatever you want to do, you can do. Let me close it. Now, if I want to sort my data based on the columns, then I can select that particular column. For example, I have selected as customer name. So customer name, in what order I want to see here, accordingly it will be applied. It will show you the data as per the customer name ascending order. Similarly, for descending order, I can do. For other columns, I can apply here. I can also apply some custom highlighting over it. It means that whenever my sales goes to 500 or 100 or whatever condition you want to apply, you can apply here, or you can select in what color or in what symbol you want to see your data. So for example, I want to highlight the sales value in the red color, where the sales field is below 200. When I click on this apply, so you can see it is exactly applied that particular condition over the sale value. Some of the different functionalities are also available here. For example, if you want to color the entire row, or you want to color the entire group based on the condition which you have applied here, so you can set accordingly. Let's say I am selecting entire row, so I can do. So you can see here, like the way in which I want to see my data, I can apply the condition here, I can sort here, I can show the total, I can also perform the grouping here, so that it will be very useful for me to understand what is my data is saying. And this particular highlighting is, the purpose of the highlighting is to catch users' attention to specify records or groups while viewing the report output. So these each highlights is configured along with the ad hoc conditions, or we can say multiple condition related by and or operator. There are some symbols also available here. For example, whenever my sales are, if any of the sales value is above 500, so I want to see this particular symbol above 500, or I can say 300, and color the entire row, or I can select here sales and sales in the red color, the red down arrow, where my sales value below 300. So for above, it will show you a symbol in green color, and for below, it will show you a symbol in red color. See. So you can see here how I can apply the highlighting over my data set to understand quickly how many records or how many sales values are up or how many sales value are down based on my condition which I have applied here. Here you can see the alert function is also available. This alert checkbox you can check, so that it will also tell you, let's say again I am selecting as red and below as 300. So I have applied where my sales value are below 300, I want alert. And when you apply this, so you can see here the alert icon is blinking here. It means that there is something, or there are some records which falling under some conditions which you have applied and which you have applied the alert. So if I click here, so I can see here that based on my condition, there are 154 records which is below my condition, or which is meeting the condition which I have applied. So after this alert mechanism, you can also configure that particular alert. It means that if you want to send that particular report to any users, so that they will be also aware that some of the transaction having the sales value greater than or less than or equals to whatever condition you have mentioned over here. So that alert we can configure further, and I hope my colleague Gunjan has already explained it yesterday. So I'm not going to configure that particular alert. Now you can see your data is available here, but there are only 3 regions because I am playing onto the sample data. What if I save that particular report, and when I execute that particular report, it might happen that the sales values can be more than 3. So you want to move yourself and you have to click again and again on this particular expansion. So in the advanced section, there is feature that I want to expand the group on fetch demand or already expanded. So when I click on the already expanded, so it will give you the expanded view of that particular grouping. So all other functionalities also available in the grid view. So based on my requirement, based on my need, what is my data is saying, what action I want to take after my sales values are goes down or up or whatever condition which we have applied. So on all the operations I can perform here in the design mode itself. So you don't need to save this report while designing this. It means while performing these operations. Also, if you save that particular report, then also you can interact with your grid view with the help of the filter, with the help of the rearranging, and with the help of the other functionalities. Now, again, I want to open that particular report which I have closed, which already I have created. So all the functionality which is available, I have applied in that particular report. So maybe it will be helpful to understand you how the smart view report help us to understand any kind of data or large amount of data. So you can see here, I have applied some condition where my sales value is greater than, uh, less than 100. So I want to see this red icon, red arrow, and I have also used sparkline. I have also used bullet. So this is the report which I have created to show you. Let me remove it. Now, the second view which is available to create is chart. So by default, when you go to create any chart, it will ask you to drag and drop any of the columns in the x-axis or y-axis so that you can visualize your data in terms of any visualization which is available in the chart. For example, donut chart, counter chart, or pie chart, packed bubble. So the difference between the grid view and chart is grid view will allow you to play onto the raw data, while the chart is useful to create the summarized data. It means it is useful to show the summarized values based on different categories. Let's say I am selecting here category, or I am selecting here order date in the x-axis. I want to see my data with the help of group month, and in the y-axis I am selecting the sales value. So directly you can drag and drop the measure or dimensions from the fields to the x-axis and y-axis, and you need to click on the apply button to apply that particular configuration which you have done. So this is how I can create the charts. If I want to change the chart type, then I can select the properties and also different type of visualization available here. For example, column chart, pie chart, donut, line, or area chart. So based on the requirement, you can select that particular chart type and you can visualize your data. Now let me remove it from here too. So again, if I want to see what is my sales value, what is my profit value based on the month again. So I will drag and drop this particular order date in the x-axis, and I can also create another axis which will be y-axis, and I can drag sales value here and profit value here. And chart type, I would like to select as bar. So you can see it create two different axes. One is for sales value and one is for profit value. And it is showing you here. In the same axis, if you want to see your data for the profit, you can drag and drop, and you can select the bar from y-axis itself. For example, if you want to see your profit values in the line chart, so you can see here. Also, you can configure it. It means that you can change the colors, you can change the x-axis label, y-axis label. So you can select it from here. For example, I want to select the values as green and the negative values in red. So like this, green, it is selected. Here I want to select as month. When I click here, so you can see here that some of the values for month April are in negative. That is why it is showing in the red color. Similarly, I can also do it for the sales value in green color, and whenever the sales values goes down, so I can see like this. So this is how we can create the charts. Now let me remove it from here, and let me also remove it. I have drag and drop the category and subcategory in the x-axis, and category and subcategory by sales value I want to see here. When I click apply and when I click on split, so it will split in the different charts based on the category. It means that if you are having distinct of category here, then that number of charts will be created, and for each and every category you will see how the subcategory value for the sales. It means that I am having three distinct value in the category, so it created three different charts. The chart is bar chart because I have selected it from the property, and for each and every category I can see subcategories, and I can also see what is the sales value for each and every subcategories. You can also hover over it to see and to highlight that particular subcategory. Similarly from here, and now if you want to select, if you want to create the stacked chart, then you can create. So it is taking time. I believe it is because of my machine. Let me again reopen the SmartView report to be created. Again, I am going to create a chart, and what I was selected, I was selecting category, subcategory, and the sales value. And when I want to create this tag, then I can create this tag chart also. So stack chart also. So this is how we can use the functionalities which is available in grid view and in the chart. Now, if I want to change the label of the title, I can change the label of the title. I can set the minimum value, maximum value based on base value also. Threshold I can apply here. Let's say in x-axis, I have drag and drop the subcategory. And now I want to see what is my value and what is my threshold value and which subcategory is achieving the threshold value. So in the y-axis, I can use the threshold, show my threshold line. The base value is, I should say 3,000, sorry, and then 3,000, and label as threshold, and color in wallet. And when I apply this, or I should select 2500. So it will be good for us to understand. So here you can see that the threshold value is already applied, and you can see that appliances subcategory and other subcategories are actually passing the threshold value. So this is how you can create the chart. Also, if you want to show the data points over the chart, then you can click on to this show data points here. If you want to show this particular legend which you can see here, sales of some in the top, then you can select from here. It will move to the top. If you want to sort this particular view based on the sales value, so you can select the sales value here, and in which order you want to see your data, you can select here. Say for example, I want to select as descending order, and when you click on apply button, it will show you in the descending order. Let me remove this threshold from here. Now I'm removing the values from here, and customer in x-axis and sales in y-axis. And the chart type I would like to select here as column chart. So it is showing me n number of customer, but I want to see the customer wise sales value in the descending order. So I can select sales value from here, and I can see now all the sales values of the customer with the help with customer is showing in the descending order. I want to see it in ascending order, so I can select. Now I only want to see the top 10 customer which is giving me more profit, so I can see it based on the show n number. Similarly, if you want to see who are the customer which is not taking any benefits from you, then you can see by apply the order as descending, and you can see Sung Chung, Becky Martin are the customers who has not transacted with you. So this is how you can use the chart, and you can create the charts with the help of the different chart types available. One more example I would like to give here, that if you have selected category and subcategory, and in y-axis, let's say sales value again, and from the property you have selected packed bubble. So packed bubble is very useful chart to understand my values in a single view. It means that if you hover over to this particular view, then you can see my total value of the sales is 41,500, which is of 100% of contribution of all the transaction. But for that particular category, I can see that the contribution is 29% and my sales value is 12,190 USD dollar. If you double click on that particular view, then you can see in category technology, you are having different subcategories, let's say phone, machine, copier, and accessories. So you can see here the contribution of each and every subcategory, also the sales value of the subcategory, including the category, and the overall contribution. If you double click like this, then it will minimize and also it will maximize. So I have also created one chart to demonstrate you. Like I have created one chart. It means where I am showing this sum of the sales value and sum of the profit month wise here. So you can see, you can hover over on each and every bar which is available here, which is visible to you, and you can analyze how the trends are going, what is the values I am getting for November 2012, or not only for the order date, any column you can select here and you can visualize your data. If I want to add another chart here, then I can add another chart here. I would like to delete it. I can create another chart, for example, in x-axis ship mode and in y-axis profit. So it will create me chart. It will give me the chart. I can also add another chart. I can also add another chart and I can visualize my data based on the requirement. But in a single row, you can only create 1, 2, 3, or 4 charts only. I can also delete this particular grid if I want. I can also delete that particular grid chart if I want. So until we have covered the grid and chart of the SmartView report. Now, metrics. So metrics is like if you want to summarize your data to be shown based on the row values and the column values, then you can do the operation here. It means that let's say I am selecting the order date here with the help of group year, and I want to see my profit value, and let's suppose quantity. This time I'm taking the quantity and I want to see it region wise. It means that year and region wise, I want to see my data for profit and quantity. When you apply it, then you can see it is showing you what is your profit and what is your quantity. I can expand it and collapse it. I can also expand it and collapse it. It means that it is showing me region wise and year wise my profit value and my quantity value. If you change something in the metric setting, then you can, it means that you want to group it by the quarter level or month level, you can do here. If you want to apply some sorting, so you can do here. Ascending in the descending order, it will apply accordingly on the metrics view. Also for the column fields, you have selected here as region. You can select you want to see in ascending order or descending order. Also profit and quantity. If you don't want to show the sum, then you can have the different functions available. For example, average, count, minimum, and maximum. Also, we can highlight it. We can highlight here based on the requirement. And as we have already seen in the grid view, the highlighting is available also here. I can highlight the entire row or entire column or entire cell or cell family. So this is how we can also create the metrics. Now, the last view of the SmartView report is map. So map is basically allows you to create some geographical chart here, and it completely based on the geographical dimensions. For example, country, state, or city, or latitude or longitude. And the different view types is available for the map. For example, bubble available, heat, and root. I have created 3 different maps in 3 different views. Let me open it. And let me enable the edit mode here. So you can see here, I have created a bubble type map where I have selected the latitude. Here I have used the different query object which will be useful for me to create that particular map, only to demonstrate you some of the functionalities which is available in the map view. So I can select here latitude and longitude. Also, I can select the measure value which needs to be shown onto the area in the geographical area. If I want to have some average or count or minimum maximum, I can select here, including the color. It means that wherever the sales value is lesser will be shown as red color, and wherever the sales value or the sum of the sales value is higher, then it will show you in the blue color. And between the range, it will adjust itself and it will show you the result. So currently I have selected as bubble. So it is showing me the map in the bubble view. And here you can see my lowest value in the green color and my higher value is in the blue color. Now, if I want to create the heat map, then I can select it from here and I can select the source countries. And when I apply it, so you can see here for the different countries, what is my sales value. Similarly, if I want to show the profit value, I can select the different measure here. But right now in this particular query object, only the sales value is available. So this is how we can create the bubble view and the heat view. Now, the last view which is available for the map is route. For example, if you want to see my source and my destination in the map, then you can create the route map view and you have to select that particular route here. For example, destination country, sorry, latitude and longitude. Here I have select latitude, here longitude, and for location, country wise, I would like to see. And when I apply it, then it will show you, you are moving from this source destination to this, from this source area to this destination area. So this is the functionalities which is available in map in order to view your data based on the map or based on the chart or based on the matrix, or you want to play with the raw data set kind of. So you can use these particular views and you can use this smart view report. Now we have already covered how we can create the chart metrics, what are the functionalities are available, how we can drag and drop, and how we can use the rearranging of the columns in the grid view, how we can show and how we can use the miniature chart. Now, after creating of this report, some of the post view operation which we can perform, which will be help us to identify further. It means that if you have created any chart or if you have created any grid or matrix or maps, if you want to print that particular report or export that report, or if you want to email that particular report, then you can. So these are the post view operation which we will cover next. First, let's see the print. Suppose I have created one chart here. Let me remove all the maps here and the metrics which I have created. Or let it do. So for this particular chart, if I want to export it into the Excel, then I can export it into the Excel. In Intellicus, the export functionality is very powerful functionality. Why? Because I am saying it is powerful. Let's suppose you have created this particular bar chart where you are showing the ship mode wise profit and you want to export it into the Excel sheet. So you can export it, but it will not export as an image. Instead, some of the charts also available in the Excel sheet. So it directly communicates and it will export as the chart which we have created here and it will transfer into the Excel chart. For example, let me export it into the Excel sheet. So it is generating now, it is downloaded. If I click to open this particular Excel sheets, and you can see here all the grid view data is exported and also the chart is exported. You can see here, this is not an image. This is a chart which Excel sheet creates while exporting it. You can also perform different kind of operations here. If you don't want to see same day or first class or whatever you want to perform, the operation can be performed here. So this is why it is very powerful, that it is not just transferring the image of that particular view. Instead, it is transferring the view in the Excel supported charts. So this is how we can use the functionality of export. Also, you can export it into the different formats. For example, right now I have exported it Excel sheet. You can use the PDF. You can use the comma separated file, text file, MS Word or MS PowerPoint. Some of the basic functionality is also available. If you want to download it as a zip file, you can download it. You want to have in the file name as suffix timestamp, then you can also use it. So this is how you can export it. And now, if you want to print this particular report, then you can also print it. So you can see it exported the output and it opened in the new file, and you can here in the new tab, and here you can print whatever you have done in the grid view or in the chart view. Also, if you created matrix or maps, it will also be those can also be print. So here you can use this print button and you can print whatever you have created. Now, if you want to send this particular report to someone, then we can also email it. For example, at some business point of view, I might have this report on the daily basis in order to understand what is going on with my data and what is going on with my business in order to take the business decisions further so that it will be helpful for me. So I can email this particular report. There are two types to send this particular report, as an attachment or embedded. Whatever option you want to select, you can select, and that particular report can be delivered over the email. Here you have to mention the email address, the CC, the subject line. Also, if you want to embed it and you want to send it over the email, so you can select the embedded option and you can email it. Now, what happens if I want to have this particular report to be scheduled so that it will be delivered to me for every day or for every week or for every month? So you have to select the report and you have to click write and the schedule option. So here you can see that the report is getting selected and you want to deliver this particular report via email. You can use that particular tab and you have to mention the file name, the email address to be sent, CC if you want to have, also the subject line, and all other functionalities which are available here can be configured. It means that if the email is successfully delivered, then who should be notified? If the email is not delivered to the respective email, then whom should be notified? So this is how we can schedule it. And also, I want to deliver it now, or I want to deliver it only once or in the recurring order. So as I was saying that I want this particular report every day, so I have to use this particular option recurring, where I have to mention the start date, end date, the frequency of the email to be delivered, like daily, weekly, or monthly. So based on the configuration which I provide here, the email will be delivered and the report will be delivered to the respective users. What if I want to delete this particular schedule after delivery of a single email? So I can check this particular checkbox or I can deselect it so that once the email will be delivered, the schedule will be deleted from the list. So this is how we can also schedule this report. Now, if you want to upload this particular report to your FTP server or to your shared folder, so you can select the upload option here, and the report which you have created can be uploaded on the HTML format or in the PDF format in the comma separated file. On your upload type means you can upload it onto your FTP server or share folder. the option which you have selected, based on that, you have to provide the details here. For example, if you have selected FTP, the server name to be set here, the folder name, file name, port, and the username and password. Similarly, for share folder also, you have to make a connection, and in which folder you want to place your report, you can select here. And also you can write down the file name here so that it will be placed as per you mentioned here. So this is how we can use the functionality of the export, email, upload, and print. So there is another functionality which we called it as publish. So publish is not visible here because the report is not saved. Once you save this particular report, the publish option will be available. So let me save this report first. So I save this particular report. Let me reopen this report too. You can see here the publish option is available now. Publish means if you want to publish that particular report to be available for some of the users or the authentic users, so you can publish the report. So here you have to select in which format you want to publish that particular report. For example, in the PDF format, in the text format, in the Excel format. The name of the report you have to apply, and to whom you want to give this particular report accessible. It means that publicly you want to report, publicly or private. Say for example, if you want to publish this particular report on the public access, then everyone can see this report. It does not matter that they are authentic user or not, they have the username or password or not, but it will be publicly accessible. If you created private report, then only the authentic user will be access this particular report. Also, I can mention here when my report will be get expired. So here I can select the date. On that particular date, the report will be expired. Let's see, I want to publish this report as public. So I can select the expire on, I can select access as public. I can also add the comment if I want to, and I can publish this particular report. Now, if you want to show my published reports, so you can see here in the report section. Once you click here, then you will see this particular report has been recently published. File name I have not given, that is why it is not showing here. Also, I can perform different kind of operations here. Generated on, it will be expired on, it created by the owner. All the details are visible over here. So this is how we can use the post view operation as per my use. I mean, as per my requirement. If I want to print it, if I want to export it, or if I want to send an email with this particular report, then I can do. So we have covered till now how we can use the smart view report, how we can design the grid view, the matrix view, the maps, also the chart, what are the different operations we can perform each and every tab, each and every views. For example, in the matrix view, in the grid, grouping, sorting. So there are so many things which is available, and with the help of we can analyze our data. So this is what in this particular session. I hope I am clear, and it will be really helpful for me, as I believe. Now, if you have any query, then you can ask in the Q&A section. Thank you, everyone.